On Global TV News Prime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu urges Nigerian journalists to place national interest above sensational reporting. Business President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inaugurates new Bank of Agriculture Board, targets food security, and on the foreign scene, ex-Iran Supreme Leader body leaves Tehran's religious complex for funeral, and in sports, Nigeria and Kosovo begin sports collaboration through international friendly encounter. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Now, the news info. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called on Nigerian journalists to place national interest above sensational reporting, warning that irresponsible journalism could threaten national security and undermine democratic stability. The president, who made the call at the inaugural presidential press corps dinner held at the State House Abuja, stressed the need for the media to exercise professionalism, responsibility, and patriotism in the discharge of its constitutional duties. Kikelomo Okere has details.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu maintained that while press freedom remains a cornerstone of democracy, it must be exercised with accuracy, fairness, and a strong sense of responsibility, especially at a time when Nigeria continues to confront security challenges. President Tinubu cautioned against giving prominence to narratives promoted by terrorists, kidnappers, and other criminal groups seeking to spread fear and division across the country.
Our matters of security of our nation must always come first. You must think about Nigeria first. That is what we all agree to. I will do everything possible in my power to be consistent with the Federal Republic, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
In an era dominated by digital platforms and misinformation, President Tinubu underscores the need for professional journalism to prioritize facts, credibility, and over falsehood, sensationalism, and click-driven reporting. He explained that existing laws, including the Cybercrime Act, are aimed at protecting citizens against malicious falsehoods and digital abuses rather than restricting press freedom.
To undermine our country with irresponsible reporting, we will have no safe space left if we did.
Speaking at the event, senior government officials, including the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Chief of Staff to the President, and the Minister of Information and National Orientation, commended the administration's reform agenda and urged journalists to report security issues responsibly without amplifying criminal propaganda. They stressed that a free, ethical, and professional media remains indispensable to national unity, democratic growth, and good governance.
Once again, I want to thank you for purposeful and meaningful leadership. It is 3 years, and it is more than 8 years. And by the time you do 8 years, Nigeria will belong to a class of its own.
No doubt that you are the president for Nigeria for this time.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recognized that a free, professional, and responsible press is indispensable to national development.
The event also featured the presentation of awards to distinguished Nigeria in recognition of their contribution to governance, economic development, public service, and journalism. The president was also decorated as the grand patron of the State House Press Corps in recognition of his support for press freedom and democratic governance. Kikelomo Okere, Global TV News.
The Benue State Government has taken delivery of 116 housing units developed under the National Housing Program as part of effort to expand affordable house ownership and improve workers' welfare in the state. And the initiative by the administration of Governor Hyacinth Alia is expected to ease pressure on rental accommodation and widen access to mortgage financing for civil servants and low-income earners. Felicity Inderi reports.
Access to affordable housing remains a major challenge across Nigeria as rising construction costs and rapid urbanization continue to put decent accommodation beyond the reach of many workers. Determined to reverse the trend, the Benue State Government has acquired 116 housing units built by the federal government under the National Housing Program. Receiving the estate on behalf of the state government, the Group Managing Director of Benue Investment and Property Company, Dr. Raymond Asamaka, has said the acquisition aligns with Governor Hyacinth Alia's vision of economic inclusion and improved living standards for workers.
All we want is to live in a decent home, affordable, and bridge the gap of the deficit of housing that we have ever witnessed.
The branch manager of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Yangi, highlighted the role of mortgage financing in making home ownership easier and more accessible for Nigerians.
If you are able to afford, then we will now show you the package for which we can tailor you to actually package you to benefit from the scheme.
Representing the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Quantities of the Femi Tope said the handover demonstrates the federal government's commitment to partnering states in addressing Nigerians' housing deficits.
Demand is higher than supply, and that's why the federal government decided to go into mass housing, and that's one of the cardinal agenda of the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he has mandated us to go all out and build houses in all the states' capital.
Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by the acting head of civil service, Dr. Eunice Uhu, described the project as a strategic investment in human capital that will enhance workers' welfare and productivity.
The outrage of house rents in the state is becoming too much for civil servants, and the benefit that he has to do something immediately to to bring down the high cost of prices of house in the town. So he did this for civil servants and as well as public servants to benefit from this.
Located along the welfare quarters Mopo Barracks Road in Makurdi, the estate consists of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom bungalows to be managed by the Benue Investment and Property Company under a flexible payment arrangement aimed at making home ownership more affordable for beneficiaries. In Makurdi, Felicity Inderi reporting for Global Television News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has flagged off the construction of 125-kilometer Akwangwa-Jos Superhighway, approving the immediate release of 111 billion naira to commence the project. The road is expected to improve connectivity, enhance road safety, and boost economic activities across the north, central, and northeast. Kabir Hassan reports.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by National Chairman of All Progressive Congress, Professor Natawe Yelwada, described the project as a major legacy initiative under the Renewed Hope agenda. He says the superhighway forms part of 700 kilometers Akwanga-Maiduguri corridor designed to strengthen regional integration and accelerate economic development.
It is a critical component of the federal government's road infrastructure development program, aimed at enhancing connectivity, improving road safety, and stimulating socio-economic activities along the corridor. Let me assure you that we don't pull aside. We shall complete this project and deploy them for the benefit of economic revolution of our country. These roads shall be done and will be successful.
The president says the project demonstrates the administration's commitment to delivering modern infrastructure capable of transforming lives and supporting national development. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, says the federal government has released 111 billion naira for the project's kickoff, expressing confidence that the superhighway will improve regional connectivity, create jobs, and drive economic growth across the North Central and Northeast zones.
On behalf of Minister of Works, to hand over the site to the contractor, the President has approved the immediate release of 111 billion to this contractor for a takeoff. And while I was here, the Minister of Finance sent me a letter and said, please give us the original documents of President approval so that we can pay. So hold him responsible because he's going to be paid this week.
The federal government says the Ekwanga-Jos Superhighway is one of the several strategic infrastructure projects aimed at improving connectivity, promoting economic growth, and accelerating national development under the Renewed Hope agenda.
State government has reaffirmed its commitment to promoting sustainable rural and community development through stronger partnerships with development agencies and the private sector and local communities. The assurance was given by the State Deputy Governor Murtala Sule Garo at the Rural and Sustainable Community Development Summit 2026 held at the Government House in Kano. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrin tells us more.
Diagnosed children in rural communities.
Rural communities remain the backbone of Kano State's economy, providing livelihoods through agriculture, commerce, and other small-scale businesses. It is against this backdrop that government officials, traditional rulers, development partners, and other stakeholders gathered at the Rural and Sustainable Community Development Summit to explore practical solutions for inclusive and sustainable development.
We equally recognize that government alone cannot accomplish this task.
Representing Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, Deputy Governor Murtala Sule Garo reaffirmed the administration's commitment to ensuring that no community is left behind. He highlighted ongoing investments in rural routes, potable water, healthcare, education, electrification, agriculture, youth empowerment, and climate-smart initiatives.
The Kano State government has continued to accord priority attention to sectors that have direct bearing on the lives of our rural population. Considerable effort has been directed toward expanding rural infrastructure through the construction and rehabilitation of roads, improving access to potable water, extending rural electrification, and opening up communities to greater economic activities.
Earlier, the Commissioner for Rural and Community Development, Abdulkader Abdul Salam, unveiled the Kano State Integrated Rural and Sustainable Community Development Plan for 2026 to 2030, describing it as a comprehensive 5-year roadmap designed to place rural communities at the center of development planning.
The Kano State Strategic Framework for Integrated Rural and Sustainable Community Development 2026 to 2030 breaks that jinx. It presents a 5-year integrated plan that puts rural communities first.
Speaking on behalf of Kano's traditional institutions, the Emir of Karaye, Muhammad Maharaj, described the summit as an important platform for developing practical strategies to improve the living conditions of rural dwellers.
This summit will reposition our thinking in looking deeply into the plight, the critical conditions of our rural people.
The summit featured the official unveiling of the Kano State's Integrated Rural and Sustainable Community Development Plan from 2026 to 2030, presentation of awards and certificate of honor to Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, his deputy Murtala Sule Garo, as well as other deserving stakeholders across the state. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
You You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Hello there and welcome to your weather forecast for Saturday. After today's active storm system swept across northern Nigeria, bringing impressive rainfall to many areas across the north, Saturday keeps that wet weather pattern going. We'll start the morning with plenty of sunshine across most cities within the north. However, isolated thunderstorms are expected over parts of Kaduna, Taraba, and also Adamawa State. Across the central cities, including Niger, the Federal Capital Territory, some parts of Plateau, a few light morning showers are possible. And further south, residents in Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, some parts of the Niger Delta region should expect a wet start to the day with steady rainfall. By late afternoon and into the evening, thunderstorms fire up nationwide as the north sees another round of strong thunderstorms across parts of Gombe, Bauchi, Yobe, Jigawa, some parts of Kano, Katsina, Taraba, Adamawa, and also southern Borno, while the south stays soaked up all through the evening under moderate rain and rumbling storms. Whether you're going out or you're staying indoors, stay alert for localized flooding. And as always, stay weather aware. Thank you for watching.
Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the federal government says agricultural mechanization in special agro-industrial processing zone known as SAP-Z remains central to its drive for food sovereignty and a resilient agricultural economy. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, stated this at the 90th birthday lecture in honor of renewed agricultural engineer Professor Gabriel Ayodele Makunjuola at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. Aneti Patrick reports.
The minister, Abubakar Kyari, said the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu places agricultural mechanization at the heart of economic growth and national development. Kyari described mechanization as a strategic tool for increasing productivity, reducing farmers' drudgery, and strengthening food security, stressing that government's policies are designed to benefit millions of smallholder farmers across the country. The minister also identified the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone program as a flagship initiative that brings agro-processing closer to farming communities, boosts value addition, and expands opportunities across the agricultural value chain. He commended Professor Makunjuola's pioneering contributions to agricultural engineering, food processing, and post-harvest technology, describing his innovations and mentorship as a lasting legacy that continues to inspire national development. Kyari urged young engineers and researchers to emulate the Nigerians' commitment to innovation, institution building, and impactful service, saying Nigeria's next agricultural revolution depends on visionary professionals capable of transforming the sector. The lecture brought together government officials, academics, engineers, and stakeholders in the agricultural sector to celebrate Professor Makunjuola's 9 decades of contributions to agricultural engineering and Nigeria's food production landscape. Aneti Patrick, Global TV News.
The federal government has charged the newly inaugurated members of Board of Directors of the Bank of Agriculture to drive agricultural financing, strengthen food security, and support the renewed hope agenda through improved access to credit for farmers and agro-businesses. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, who inaugurated the board on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja, described the exercise as a major step in repositioning the bank to become the engineer of Nigeria's agricultural reform. And on the foreign scene now, the body of Iran's supreme leader who was killed in U.S.-Israeli strike that triggered the Middle East war arrived at Tehran's Grand Mosala on Friday ahead of his funeral, state media reported. Millions of people and foreign dignitaries were expected to attend Saturday's official ceremony of Al-Khamenei, who Tehran's chief negotiator, calling for a massive turnout to avenge his death. Tehran's chief negotiator Mohammad Bagher had called for all the Iranian people to write a glorious page in the history of Islamic Iran through your presence. Mrs. Florence Ajimobi has arrived in Vienna to formally assume duty as ambassador and permanent representative of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to Austria and the international organizations in Vienna. Announcing her arrival in a post on Facebook, Ajimobi said she was received at the VIP wing of Vienna International Airport by the Charge d'Affaires AI of the Embassy and Permanent Mission, Mr. Muyiwa Onifade, along officials of the mission and members of the Nigerian community in Austria. Another batch of Nigerians evacuated from South Africa amid ongoing anti-migrant violence arrived safely at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on Friday, as the federal government continued efforts to bring home citizens effectively by the unrest. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu, disclosed that Air Peace charter flight conveyed 268 returnees alongside 2 officers and crew members from Johannesburg to Lagos. According to the minister, the special flight funded by the federal government departed Oliver Tambo International Airport at 5:38 a.m. In a statement posted on her X handle, Ojukwu says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had described the evacuation exercise should continue despite the expiration of the June 30th ultimatum issued by anti-migrant groups in South Africa. In sports now, in a major boost to the country's renewed hope agenda for Nigerian sports economy, the National Sports Commission, NSC, has sealed a bilateral sporting relationship with the Federal Republic of Kosovo. The bilateral pact was consummated in Abuja when the Deputy Prime Minister of Kosovo, Grg Kanjofak, said a courtesy visit to the Director General of the NCS, Honorable Kola Olakbade, in his office. The Deputy Prime Minister sees Nigeria as a leading top economy in Africa with huge human capital and natural resources, and a diplomatic tie with Nigeria will mutually benefit both countries. The delighted Director General of the NSC, Honorable Kola Olakbade, lauded the Kosovo Deputy Prime Minister for his visit and assured him that Kosovo has picked the right country to collaborate with in every aspect of socio-economic and sporting diplomacy. Portugal battled into the last 16 of the World Cup with a drama-filled 2-1 victory over Croatia on Thursday to set up a titanic showdown with European champions Spain. Another nerve-shedding World Cup classic, Goncalo Ramos headed Portugal into the lead in the 4th minute of stoppage time before Croatia saw a last-grabs equalizer accidentally rolling out for offside. In Toronto, Portugal's 41-year-old superstar captain Cristiano Ronaldo had helped haul his team back into the contest, borrowing a 68-minute penalty to cancel out Croatia's 53rd-minute opener from Ivan Pariskis. Now that's it on News Prime. Here's a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.